All right, it's 6:35, time to let it rip. We'll bring VB in down at our Beacon Hill studio. We want to talk a little bit more about the situation surrounding Professor Henry Gates and how much national attention this is now getting. Last night, President Obama held a nationally televised press conference, and he was asked about the situation surrounding Professor Gates.
I don't know all the facts. Good evening. Please be seated.
We missed the sound there with the president. Let's listen now.
And where we spend much more...
Nope, actually we did. We missed that sound, but we can sort of paraphrase for you what the president had to say about it. When asked about the situation, the president said he didn't know all the details, but he felt that the Cambridge police had acted stupidly in this situation.
Yeah, I think the president left out a lot of details that were put in the police report. It made it seem like that Gates was showed his ID and got arrested anyway. And of course, we know around here that's not the case according to the officer, the arresting police officer. But even that, VB, to go from saying I don't know all the facts in the case to concluding that the Cambridge police acted stupidly is a really huge leap, especially coming from the President of the United States.
If he had it to do over again, I can almost guarantee you Obama at least would have chosen different words. There are Biden blunders, and then there are really bad blunders. Biden blunders make us laugh. This blunder by Obama, this is inflammatory, inciting, and just, if anyone acted stupidly, it was Obama last night. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know what possible good comes from him saying this. You know, the role of president is generally to act as peacemaker. Was this presidential? Was this peacemaker-like last night? This is crazy. The more I think about it, the more stunned I am that he said this.
You know, Bibi, I can't imagine under any circumstances the president should have made comments about this, period. Number one, he is the professor's friend. That in and of itself should keep him from making any kind of comments about this. Even if he had been standing there and heard this, I just can't imagine as the president of the United States, he should be making comments about this on national television. And this is just not something the president needs to get involved in.
And this was a primetime news conference on healthcare reform, and this is the one non-healthcare reform question at the end of the news conference that was asked.
I just can't imagine why he would have
And he took
ever
over
responded.
3.5 minutes or whatever. I mean, it wasn't like he glossed over it. He took a good 3-4 minutes to answer the question.
He's bringing where you're trying to calm the waters now. Not only is he stirring the pot, but he's throwing gunpowder into it. I can guarantee you the right today is going to make the point on talk radio that, you know, this is a guy, Obama, who, when presented with all this evidence that Reverend Wright was a racist, said, hey, I'm not going to rush to judgment, and I'm going to give the guy the benefit of the doubt. This is the same guy who now says, I don't have the facts here, but the Cambridge cops acted stupidly. It doesn't make any sense. This was a real big mistake by the president.
And most of the coverage I've seen on national cable shows where they've discussed this issue, they have taken the same approach that the president has and basically said this guy was arrested in his house. He showed his ID, they arrested him anyway. And again, that's not what happened. Although we don't really know what happened, the police report has something else entirely. And to balance it out, you've got to say, well, according to the police report, this is what happened. But Professor Gates is saying this is what happened.
Yeah, that battle's almost been lost already, where the history is going to show that Gates was wrong, the cop was racist, and that's how this went down. Yeah. People around will know that there was a different side to it, but that's how it's going to be written. Regardless of that, he's the president of the United States, and that makes it 100-fold more egregious than if I or you said the Cambridge cops acted stupidly. This was totally irresponsible by him.
I keep going back to the same thing. This is his friend, which was just made the whole thing so tainted in and of itself. Is he commenting about things that are happening locally at every press conference? The answer is no.
And again, they picked these questions,
involved in
and he knew this was coming. He wanted to talk about it, obviously.
All right, myfoxboston.com if you'd like to weigh in. I'm sure you do. We're getting a lot of response to this issue over the last few days, and it only continues to escalate. So weigh in. We'd like to hear from you.